We've got a lot to talk about today, so get in here. This is Jack with Cosmic Road. I talk about UFOs and the paranormal. Please hit like and subscribe and let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Okay, well, lately we've seen a pattern of UFOs over airports worldwide, sometimes shutting them down. Sometimes they look like mystery drones or sort of drone. Sometimes they look more anomalous. Well, now we've got another one in India. Let's give a listen.
An unidentified flying object was spotted in India. Where exactly? Near the Bir Tikendrajit International Airport in the northeastern state of Manipur. The mysterious object was seen for at least an hour and a half, according to reports. It forced commercial flight operations to be shut down for over 3 hours. What exactly was this object? Was it a drone? Was it a balloon? A Chinese spy balloon, perhaps? The object has triggered a lot of questions now.
Yeah, well, I guess it has triggered a lot of questions. Let's take a look at this thing. Where is the video of the... Here we go. Here we go. So this thing was there for an hour and a half, shutting down air traffic, shutting down the airport. Really interesting. Is that a drone? Is that an orb? What is that thing? If I squint, I can almost kind of make out blinking lights on it, maybe. So maybe more of a mystery drone, or maybe an orb. Hard to tell, guys. Hard to tell. Of course, if it's a mystery drone now, maybe 5 minutes ago, it was an orb. Who knows, guys? But these things are still around. They are still international. They are over military installations. They're over airports. Nobody has an explanation for these things or why they are being so overt now. I think that's really interesting. We haven't seen a pattern like this, I don't think, ever before. I think this is brand new. We are seeing this pattern of UFOs shutting down airports around the world because of their activity over airports. There's a huge flap of this. And of course, over military installations, all over. Over 100 military installations have been affected in the U.S. alone. So what the hell is going on, guys? I think this is part of the mystery drone flap, whatever it is, because it has the same pattern. And we don't know what these things are. Nobody's giving us an answer, at least not an honest answer. But this thing is still ongoing, having repercussions, having consequences, shutting down airports. So what is the deal, guys? This seems to me like it's more and more clearly the phenomenon, at least part of it. NHI, I think, is doing this. And since it's so overt, it seems to be sending a message still to somebody or some bodies. So let me know if you think I'm on the right track here or who that message could be for and if they're getting the message. And yeah, I know my voice isn't sounding great today. I'm still dealing with the cedar fever. It'll be gone hopefully in a week or two. But work with what you got, guys. Work with what you got. Meanwhile, Coast to Coast is reporting that there is a new search for Flight MH370 underway. Nearly 11 years after Malaysian Airlines Flight 370 mysteriously disappeared, a new search is underway in the hopes of finally locating the lost passenger plane. I'm not going to get into the whole article, but yeah, there you go. There's a new search for MH370. I hope they find it and we can put this to bed as a closed case. But it's a very mysterious case as it appears right now. We have a large plane that went down in the ocean, and there is no debris field, no bodies, both of which are highly unusual, almost unheard of for a plane this size to go down in the sea without, again, a debris field or bodies. That's just really anomalous. Is the footage of the plane being vanished by orbs? Is that legit? Is that disinformation? It's not just a hoax. It's not just a hoax by a hoaxer, because there was information on that video, like the location of the plane, that was not known to the public at the time. So that's either a legit video of something really anomalous happening to that plane, or it's disinformation put out by the powers that be to disguise some sort of skullduggery, like, for example, shooting the plane down. So it's either one of those two. So something weird happened to MH370. Will they find the remnants of this plane? Will they find that it, may have something that would indicate there was an explosion or a military strike of some sort. That would be very telling and very tragic. The whole thing is tragic either way. But I hope that it's not, human powers that be that did this for God knows what reasons. There are various theories out there about those reasons. But this could be something more anomalous. We just don't know at this point. And it's even possible, and I hate to even bring this up, but it's possible that those people could still be alive. And that's, why we need answers on this. Those families need closure if they haven't found it already. Meanwhile, Think Tank is reporting on this amazing UFO sighting in West Virginia, February 24th. We've got what looks like a fleet of UFOs just circling and doing weird UFO things. Sometimes they look like they're swimming around in the sky, and that's kind of what these guys seem to be doing. Are these orbs? Are these more structured craft? What are these things? Now, some will say these are birds or something like that. To me, that doesn't look like birds. But if you think those are birds, let me know in the comments below. I think something more anomalous is going on. I think this is a pretty darn cool sighting of, again, what looks like, a fleet or hell, maybe a school of UFOs just kind of swimming around and doing their thing. Speaking of crazy UFOs, here's an older clip of a Stephen Greer UFO that, or being, or whatever the heck it is, I guess seen during a CE5 or something. And this is from 2005, but some are saying this is more of a angel or something. I don't know if this is an angel, but it's certainly a really intriguing looking object. I don't think this can be explained by any mundane reasons. I don't think that Stephen Greer is putting up CGI'd footage. So I think this is a real sighting of something very, very anomalous. Stephen Greer gets great contacts. I give him a lot of grief, and he totally deserves it for denying NHI abductions. And I've gone over that many times before. I just made a detailed video about that a couple of weeks ago. So go check that out if you are a new subscriber, about all the reasons why he's very, very wrong and very obviously wrong about that. But that doesn't mean that he's not an accomplished UFO personality, and that he has done a lot of good for the UFO community, including this idea of popularizing human-initiated contact. And he seems to be a hell of an experiencer himself, who is able to draw a lot of activity in. And it makes sense because he is a near-death experiencer, and near-death experiencers are often more closely connected to the phenomenon than non-near-death experiencers. I'll just play a few seconds of him recounting part of his near-death experience.
These two enlightened beings, these sort of twin, powerful, almost like avatar-type beings, said, well, you may come with us or go back to Earth. And I said, well, I had enough presence of mind to say, well, what is your will? I mean, what should I do? And I'm a 17-year-old boy who was raised as totally an atheist. We were Unitarians, but we didn't believe in anything. And they said, well, we would like for you to go back to Earth to work on what you can do for Earth. And with that, I became very depressed, to be honest with you. I had no interest in coming. After that experience, I had no interest in being back.
Yeah, near-death experiencers typically don't want to go back. Sometimes they are kind of guilted into it, or they want to go back to their loved ones. But he went back, and now, of course, he's the Stephen Greer that we all know and love, and or not, or have mixed feelings about. But he's an interesting cat, and the link between near-death experiences and UFOs is very interesting, because according to the Edgar Mitchell Foundation, almost a third of all alien abductees, which Stephen Greer denies even exist, are near-death experiencers. There's a huge crossover of those demographics, and of the experiencers of the metaphysical and the alien. There's a huge crossover there as well. These things all kind of blend together, and sometimes it's hard to know what exactly you're looking at. Is that a ghost? Is that an alien? What are these things? Sometimes it's all of the above. Like what the heck is going on in this video shared by Truth Poll. You'll see an anomalous figure walking through that gate. Now, is this an alien? Is this a Bigfoot? Is this a ghost? What the heck is this thing? Is this a hoax? If you think it's a hoax, let me know. But look at that. There's this weird, creepy figure, goes to the gate, and then passes right through it. Really interesting, guys. Really interesting. Let's take another look at this creepy guy. Or maybe he's not creepy. Maybe you think he's a cool guy. Just a kind of a cool ghosty alien, just chilling out, walking through things. And of course, we know that beings, like alien beings, can pass through walls, right? They can even make abductees pass through walls. So is that kind of what we're looking at? That sort of technology, or whatever the heck it is? Are they changing their vibratory rate? What is that? Or are we looking at something more, classically paranormal here? Or do you think this is again, an artifact of the camera, or just a hoax? So let me know what you think was going on in Chile when this video was being taken. Speaking of which, since we're getting kind of woo here, here's Diana Pasolka talking about the religious angle for the Varginha incident.
So they identify it, and there's a lore to demons as well. And part of that lore is that they have cloven feet, and they have a really terrible smell like sulfur. And both of these are mentioned many, many times. They come up repeatedly in the video. And I'm thinking, if I ever see him again, I'll say, hey, you brought up a lot of the religious stuff. But of course, he didn't see it because he's coming from a secular framework. But
talking about James Fox. So yeah, she's saying that the Varginha beings, they've got cloven feet. I guess I think they're more tridactyl, but whatever. And they've got like horny things on their head. They stink of sulfur. So could that be what some people might interpret as a demon? It gets interesting, guys, and the Varginha beings get even more interesting because, of course, there's a connection with the Nasca mummies. That's right. This guy was found at the site where the Nasca mummies were found. And it looks just like the Varginha beings. And I think the Varginha beings are said to be tridactyl. I believe we have footprints. Well, I've seen the footprints, the supposed recreations of the footprints. Here we go. Of these guys that, again, they're tridactyl. Even their horns are tridactyl, or their fins or whatever. So there's a connection between those guys and the Nazca mummies, apparently. So are those Nazca beings? Were there some of these guys that were included among the living Nazca beings of the time? Were they just one of those hybrid species or whatever they were? If so, that's really intriguing because that it seems to indicate they have access to UFOs because Varginha was a UFO crash. Now, some have said that they believe that the two horn beings or finned beings that were sighted in the area after the crash may have actually been, captives or something of the primary beings aboard that ship. That they weren't actually in control of the ship itself, but obviously we don't know. But it would be really interesting if they did have access to UFOs, if they were spacefaring beings, because that might indicate the Nazca beings were spacefaring beings as well, which would be really interesting. It'd also be really weird because Maria, her teeth were ground down from a coarse diet. Her feet were burned as if from walking on hot sand, like she didn't even have shoes. So it's so weird if they had rough lifestyles but access to UFO technology. It almost makes more sense of that theory about them being captives or something of the primary beings aboard that ship. That almost makes more sense to me. Whoever was coming here retrieved a couple of these living Nazca type beings for whatever reasons, and then something happened and there was a crash and they got away for a brief time. But let me know what you guys think. Oh, and here's a cool UFO video shared by Wixie. It's an orb, but it looks like more of a structured craft, more of what I think of as a Category 1 orb, which is a more, classically UFO orb. Category 2 are the kind of the orbs that John Bell sees, that kind of orb, which are more phantasmal and luminous, balls of light. And then Category 3 orbs, for me, are the ghosty orbs that you see on ghost hunts. Not dust particles. They'll pass through walls and they'll do all sorts of stuff. But yeah, this is, I think, a classic Category 1 orb. I don't think that's a balloon or anything like that. But let me know what you guys think. Speaking of John Bell, here's another great sighting from John Bell from Real Florida UFO. Look at that orb thing just hovering around, doing its crazy orb thing. He gets these sightings nightly. Some of them seem to be more structured craft. Some of them are way up high in the sky. Some of them are slow moving. Some of them are fast moving. Some of them are down close to him, like this guy right here. And although it looks, kind of ghostly and phantasmal, one of those things that looked just like that struck his truck once, his multi-ton military-style truck, at least I think of it as military-style, and rattled his truck. So these things have force and substance, even though they look like just a wispy little thing. And I've shared that video before. You can go find that on my channel or John's channel. Again, Real Florida UFO. He has nightly contacts with the phenomenon, and he gets it on camera. Last but not least, because my throat is killing me, a wolf howling at the thunder. Tell him, Wolf. All right. Let me know what you think about it all in the comments below. Like and subscribe. Buy a t-shirt. Become a channel member. And there's plenty of other videos on the channel. See you next time, guys. This is Jack with Cosmic Road, signing out.